Assassin's Creed Shadows to be live service with battle passes. I don't think anybody really wants that, Ubisoft. Article from the Park Place basically explains it, indicating that Ubisoft leaks would indicate that yes, indeed, there will be a battle pass for this game. So obviously, as we know, they've never done it for Assassin's Creed before, because why would you? It's a single player game. Battle passes, you know, for all other live service games in general. What do they reward you with? Skins, loot, all that sort of stuff. That's great if you want to show off to random people in an open world game, or, you know, you're playing a MOBA like League of Legends, or, you know, hero shooters like Valorant, or whatever you're playing. People want those skins to show off. That's fine. That's cool. Do whatever you want. But a single player game? Like, who's looking at these skins? Apparently Ubisoft's been scrubbing the internet of these images and copy striking creators who post it. So I haven't seen them myself. I'm just going off this article and a bit of news that we've seen around. But of course, they haven't confirmed or denied whether this leak is legitimate or not. The game, of course, is supposedly at this stage going to release in February after being delayed. It was supposed to already be out by now, I believe. But basically, the idea of the Battle Pass would be players would complete daily missions as part of the Animus Hub. 20 Battle Pass tiers were listed to provide players with cosmetic gear. One image showed Yasuke, the game's, of course, controversial protagonist, standing within the hub. It's just, like I said, this seems stupid. Ubisoft, what are you doing? This is a single player game. Yes, you're going to introduce a co-op aspect, but again, who cares? Normal people aren't going to, probably not going to buy this game for starters, let alone buy a stupid battle pass for a single player game. You know, but I mean, this isn't the first time they've done this. I mean, according to the article, in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, players encountered the mission with a recommended difficulty that far exceeded natural progression, and Ubisoft then sold a premium add-on for the game that would allow players to gain XP faster and cut their grind time in half. Now, this is literally Candy Crush Saga kind of shit. You know, mocked up in Assassin's Creed. This is the dumbest thing I have ever seen in my life. Ubisoft, if you want to make a single player great experience, you need to look no further than this year, just a couple of months ago with Black Myth Wukong. That was a feature-ready game that was 100% complete upon release, apart from the occasional balance patch that they did with some of the harder bosses to make it not so tricky and people could progress through levels smoothly. That's all they needed to do. And look at the amount of copies they sold. Look at the amount of money they made. Last year, you had a similar thing with Hogwarts Legacy, 30 million copies and $1 billion. Look at all the live service failures that have happened time and time again, especially just this year alone. You know, you had, Concord, obviously the biggest one. Later than that, we had Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. There's many others. I think too many of these developers are basically looking at, gee, the big players are raking in so much money and we want a piece of that pie. But you're forgetting the reason they're making that money is because they've been around for a long time. They provided value upon when they were released, and they weren't simply a cash grab trying to bleed players dry. You're going to pay $70 upon release for a game like Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's a single player game. Yeah, you might play co-op with a mate for a battle pass that you can show off to skin to one, maybe two people. Seems pretty stupid to me. Just shows you that Ubisoft is totally bereft of any ideas now. They don't know what to do. Skull and Bones, supposed to be original IP, that failed miserably. Couldn't even make a pirate swim. You know, that would make sense if it was a One Piece adaptation and they'd added the devil fruit, but they're not. They're just normal pirates. Star Wars Outlaws, lost money. Terrible game. You know, they're supposed to be quadruple A titles, as Ubisoft says, but we know they're not because they're just dumb. You know, as I've covered in previous videos, if you want to have a look in my channel, I might leave a link in the description below. Ubisoft is rife with toxic positivity. Dare I say, DEI and quote-unquote woke culture is damaging their van severely. Just look at their share price. But this is a studio that has no direction anymore. And they're not the only one. Look at BioWare, same thing. The only original IP they tried to release, you know, recently with Anthem, again, a live service failure, and then they were going to make Dragon Age the Veilguard multiplayer as well, potentially live service. What a disaster that would have been if they actually followed through with that. I mean, it was already a disaster to begin with, but they would have doubled down. But what does that hold for Mass Effect 5? I really hope they don't try to continue down this stupid live service obsession. You know, Sony again, I think in my Concord video I released the other day, they want to release up to 10 live service titles within the next 2 years. Like, this is crazy. There's only so many people that will play live service game. How about You just focus on one IP and do it well. And then when you get feedback from your playtesters, from social media, instead of going back to gamers and going in their face, you're wrong, we're going to follow this thing, it's the gamers that are wrong, that old Simpsons meme, is it me that's out of touch? Yes, you are out of touch. It's really not that hard to realize how out of touch you are, but when you live in an echo chamber and this very insular bubble, you just keep getting fed the same bullshit from people around you, and it's understandable that you think you're doing good work and everybody else is wrong, but the numbers don't lie. When your share price is tanking and none of your releases are making profits, and this isn't just for Ubisoft, this is for all AAA studios, you have a problem, and you can either fix it or you can just fall away into obscurity and somebody else who actually knows what they're doing, like Game Science or guys that made Stellar Blade shift up, they will replace you and you'll never come back from that.